Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting edition of your favorite premier sports podcast, the Two Buck Sports Podcast. I am your co host, Rusty Buckets, coming to you a day early with my infamous half man, half amazing co host, Drew. What's up, buddy? How's everything going?
Hey, Buckets. Everything is good on my end. It's a beautiful day in paradise here in North Mississippi. Uh, just holding down the fort. A pretty slow week so far, which, given the last few weeks, is a welcome surprise.
No storms, no crazy weather, nothing.
No, not this week, but now that I've said it, just brace yourselves. Go ahead and board up your windows now.
Tippah County, you are welcome. You just don't know how good you have it, having the Power Ranger team that you have protecting your ability to watch your shows or your Jeopardy or whatever it is you tune into on a regular basis. Power Rangers have your back.
Yeah, we got a good bunch of Power Rangers, myself not included.
No, you're the head Power Ranger, man. Whatever it was, that the white or the red, whichever one was the leader. I don't remember.
I was thinking of the little elf-looking guy in the headquarters. That always made the crazy noises. That's probably me.
That's true.
The guy at headquarters. I'm the man in the chair.
That's it. You're sitting in the chair, pulling the levers, pushing the buttons, and playing Bop It, right?
Yeah, I always laugh. In the first Spider-Man movie that was in the MCU, is that Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, first one with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. His buddy always said he wanted to be the guy in the chair. Let me be the guy in the chair. And so that's what I call myself. I'm the guy in the chair, with all the buttons.
That's it. Little kids, if you're listening to this and you're sitting at home wondering what you want to be when you grow up, be the guy in the chair.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great fun.
Yeah. Well, Drew, with summer coming in and getting hot and spending more time on the beach, I have decided to start with the majority of soccer moms and middle-aged women across the globe.
Don't tell me yoga.
No. Do I look like yoga?
Seltzers? Is it
No.
seltzers?
No.
Yoga pants.
Already been wearing those, man. You're behind the eight ball there.
All right. Bell bottoms.
Close. I have started Weight Watchers, and it's an easy way to try and keep up with some points and lose some weight, get my tubby self in shape so I can sit on the beach and look good, I guess, out there baking. But in honor of that, and the foods that I'm going to miss tremendously, I guess I could have them, but I'd hate to know how many points they are. I thought tonight we'd bring the draft back because we enjoy doing those. We had some good responses on that. And so tonight we are going to draft our favorite foods that are fried. Whatever foods get better when they're fried, your favorite fried treats. And there's plenty of options out there. I was making my list earlier today and I'm like, man, I need Weight Watchers bad.
Yeah. I mean, talking about fried food will make you realize how badly you need to be on a diet. And I say you, not as in you, Rusty, as you as in
collectively.
The population, the collective you. Yeah. Well, so how are we going to determine who gets the first pick here?
Well, I know we had talked about maybe doing it all fair, but we got in a hurry tonight getting started, so we didn't get to do that. We could do a rock, paper, scissors here for our YouTube video viewers, and if you're listening, you just gotta hang on. All right.
Yeah, we'll narrate it for you.
We'll call it out.
2 out of 3, right?
2 out of 3. You call it.
Shoot.
Yep.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Tied. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Tie.
Both paper, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Is that a gun?
It was a gun. I meant to repeat scissors.
I think he threw a gun. I think I lose.
What did you put up?
I put up paper.
My intentions were pure. It's just I'm in a weird angle with this boom mic here. All right, let me come around. 1-0.
All right, you got one.
All right, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
You got 2.
Back to back. Scissors beat paper.
Yep.
And gun.
All right, so you get the first pick. We'll do it snake style. So you'll get a pick, then I'll get 2, and we'll go through our favorite fried foods. So you are on the clock, sir.
Yeah, well, this is easy. There's a clear 101. There is a superior food that is fried amongst all others, and then the competition really starts at number 2, and the number 1 is chicken. Yeah. Fried chicken. Yeah, they've made whole restaurants around it. You've got Popeyes, you've got KFC, and nobody does it as good as your mother. Everybody says it. Their mama makes the best fried chicken. I agree with that
Yeah.
statement because my mama does. And it's the best way to eat chicken, and it is the best fried food there is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of easy. It's just like when
Right.
we did the draft of sporting events. Whoever got one got the Super Bowl. You get one here, you get chicken. I mean that's natural.
Yeah. All right. So you're up, Bucket. You got back-to-back picks here.
So my first one is very niche, and I own that. But I think most people will agree with this. If you grew up in the South like we did, especially if you grew up in cities that had fairs or had carnivals or had things that came to town with questionable rides and music and whatnot, then you had a funnel cake.
Yeah, it's on my
Fried
list.
cake is the only thing better than regular cake. And if you haven't had a funnel cake and a fried funnel cake full of confectionate sugar on top, then Wilfred Brimley is shaking that delicious mustache at you from heaven, judging you
Diabetes.
because you have not had the diabetes cake. But funnel
Right.
cake is a solid first pick.
Yeah. I mean, if you say so yourself, I guess.
I guess. I'm proud of that one. I'm proud of my funnel cake pick.
All right.
Um,
What you guys?
Number two, I am a fan of all things seafood, and the only way I think you can make shrimp better is by frying it. I love some good boiled shrimp. I like peel and eat, but some good fried shrimp, whether that's on a taco or with French fries or just in a meal of itself, fried shrimp is a solid way to consume it. So shrimp gets better when it's fried.
Yeah. See, I disagree with you. I think I would rather eat a different type of fish than eat shrimp. I like fried shrimp, but as far as shrimp goes, any other way is better, in my opinion.
Mm. Oh no, man!
Yeah.
Fried shrimp's hard to beat, especially like what's that coconut shrimp with the dipping sauce, and it can be you can church it up, make it good.
I mean, popcorn shrimp's one thing, but a full butterfly shrimp, a large butterfly shrimp, I don't want it fried. Uh, I want it grilled or boiled
That's fair.
in some
Blackened, pretty good.
Zatarain's. Right,
Yeah,
blackened.
yeah.
So, all right, good. I love my list. I've got one pick, and mine's better than your two.
Disagree.
All right, so I got the next turn here, and I am going to go with mozzarella sticks.
Ooh.
Um, Mozzarella sticks are great because the worst mozzarella stick is still solid, and the best mozzarella stick is heavenly. Rusty, we used to go to Smith in Corinth. Rest in peace to our favorite bar and grill in North Mississippi.
Hats off.
Yeah, we used to go get trash wings, and when they first opened up, they did mozzarella sticks that you had to serve on a plate because you couldn't pick them up. It was like a whole, it's like a stick of butter's worth of cheese
Oh my gosh.
crusted to a perfect golden brown perfection, and you had to eat it with a fork, and it was beautiful.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it was the size of like a regulation hot dog, like with bun and
a
all.
Nathan's hot dog, yes.
Yeah, bun and all.
Yeah. Uh, and then with my next pick, I'm going to go sweet. And you took funnel cakes. It was on my list, but given the option to have what I'm about to pick or a funnel cakes would cease to exist. And those are fried pies.
Oh, that was on my list.
Yeah. So I'm taking them all because a fried pie is it's it's like a hamburger. You can have 1,000 different hamburgers. You can have 1,000 different fried pies.
Yep.
The superior 101 of fried pies is chocolate. A fried chocolate pie, but I love apple. I love peach. I love other stuff that I haven't tried yet because you cannot ruin a fried pie. My great grandmother had a recipe that we thought died with her. She had the best fried chocolate pies. The chocolate, for some reason, was kind of gritty and it was great. And when she died, we thought it was gone. And then about a couple years ago, my aunt sent a message out to the whole family in a group message that says, I've cracked the code. And now every time we go to my aunt's house, we've got Mall's fried chocolate pies.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a Hispanic patient that used to bring me empanadas, which is similar. It's just a fried filling. It's just a different take on it. But yeah, blackberries, apple, peach, chocolate, matters not. Blackberry. All of them. Absolute bangers. Absolutely.
Right. All right. Well, good. So, so far, I have got chicken, fried pies, and mozzarella sticks, which is
Solid
like a
list.
perfect 3-course meal. And you have got fried shrimp and funnel cakes.
Yep.
So it's your pick. You get 2 more.
So I'm going appetizer with my next one, and especially at Cafe Mike's in Corinth, Mississippi. If you know, you know, fried
No,
pickles. Pickles.
you're behind, man. They went to the chips.
I know, man. I was just about to say that, man,
Yeah.
because last time I was home, we got them, and they were chips. They used to do these spears, and that's when they were just immaculate. Like they were perfectly done. Excuse me, Mikey, if you listen to this, we missed those, but they were the perfect spear. They fried them in a whole, like I said, a quartered spear instead of the chips like most people do. They had their own little house-made ranch. It was so good, and the seasoning was perfect. Fried pickles would be my next pick, man. And they are, you never can go wrong with fried pickles as an appetizer, whether you're going to eat seafood, if you're going to eat a sandwich, if you're eating at the dinner bell. It doesn't matter. They're in Corinth. It doesn't matter where you're eating at. Fried pickles are the one of one for an appetizer. No doubt.
All right. Hit us with your next pick.
Next up, after fried pickles, I got a lot here. But my next one, I'm going to go potatoes. And that encapsulates all fried potatoes, whether that's tater tots, whether that's French fries, whether that's home fries, or JoJo's, as we call them back home in Mississippi, which are the big potato wedges. It matters not. Hash browns, the only way, like baked potatoes are fine. Mashed potatoes with plenty of butter and garlic are fine. But if you fry a potato, you've hit a home run. So give me all the fried potatoes.
That's a solid pick because of the sheer breadth of it. I had
That's
French
it.
fries on here, and so I'm glad you went a step ahead and you slurped me and took all of the potatoes because the superior, and those are not the superior one. Don't hear what I'm not saying. The superior fried potato is just your grandma's sliced,
Yes,
and thrown in the fryer,
especially
in the
because
hot
Mimi
oil.
would do it.
Yeah.
Mimi would do it in this grease that she'd already cooked, either fried pork chops or ribs or whatever. And then she'd throw onion and thin sliced potatoes in there, almost making like home fries
Like a
or
mash
homemade
or something.
Yeah. Oh
Uh-huh.
my gosh, ain't good for you, but boy was it good.
Oh, my grandma would cut those suckers up and fry them in a skillet and put so much salt on them that's all you tasted.
That's it.
And so,
And we
and
usually
they're
have
incredible.
We'd have them all the time, but one of my favorite meals was she'd make salmon cakes and home fries.
Oh yeah.
And I would just dominate that.
Yeah, in Mississippi, those are called salmon patties.
That's it, salmon patties. We ain't fancy down
there. There may be some salmon in it, but it's canned salmon. You know that fake fish. So
and saltine crackers stuffed with seasoning.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to look at my list here.
You've got 2 picks, and I've got 1 left.
Okay. So I've got 2 picks. We're going to go with another carnival favorite here and take the fried Oreo.
Oh yeah, it was on my list.
The fried Oreo solid. I like, you know how I am with food. I like the portability of food, and fried Oreo is a superior food when it comes to portability. And my last pick is one of my favorite appetizers to get anywhere, and it is fried raviolis.
Ooh.
Have you ever had fried ravioli?
Oh yeah.
My wife loves fried ravioli, and so if you can get some fried ravioli with a side of marinara sauce or some sort of spicy Italian sauce, it is elite.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. You just got to give it a minute because it will melt all of your teeth when it first comes to the table.
Yeah, you cannot place directly on your tongue right out of the kitchen. You will not taste anything else for the rest of the week.
Like I said, you might lose a molar or two as it just liquefies your teeth because it's so hot, but that's the price we pay. So, Drew, you got a solid list going. I'm a fan of your list. You want to run us through it real quick?
Yeah, so I've got fried Oreos, I've got fried pies, I've got fried ravioli, fried what was my first pick? Fried chicken. Yeah.
The goat.
Yeah. Is that everything? Hold on.
And mozzarella sticks was your
And
fifth.
mozzarella sticks. Yeah.
Solid lineup there. Sounds like a recipe for a upset stomach, but it's a solid list.
Upset cardiologist.
That's right. And I've got funnel cakes, I've got fried shrimp, I've got fried pickles, I got fried potatoes. Oh, and there's so many ways I could go with this. I think I'm gonna stay true to my southern roots in a niche market. My grandmother makes this with every meal. She always has a bag on hand, frozen in the freezer. No matter if we're making spaghetti, if we're having breakfast, if we're having fried chicken, she's going to take a handful of okra. She's going to bread it up. She's going to fry it up. And I don't care if you don't even like okra pods because they can be slimy. Me personally love boiled okra. Great. But if you don't care for boiled okra, you will crush fried okra.
Yeah. Fried catfish was right there for you to take.
It was.
You went with
on my
okra.
list.
Yeah, I mean, I could have taken it too, but all my foods are better than fried catfish, and you took okra and fried shrimp, which are both not as good as fried catfish.
Disagreement. I do love some fried catfish. That's probably like my honorable mention number one. Honestly, when I'm looking at my list, I was between fried mushrooms, fried okra, and fried catfish. So those would be my two
said fried mushrooms, I'd have logged off this call right now.
Especially if they're breaded in mayonnaise, right?
Okay, now I am getting off the call. That's too far.
Well, I'm proud of my list. We'll post it onto our Instagram page and see what our fans think over the next couple of days. But again, I had funnel cakes, fried shrimp, fried pickles, fried potatoes, and any variety, fried okra.
And I had fried chicken, fried mozzarella sticks, fried pies, fried Oreos, and fried
raviolis.
I'm so bad. I don't know why I don't write these down. Yeah. So
my back's getting tired from carrying this podcast tonight, sir.
Well, good thing you got a big back.
I guess so. All right, moving right along. I posed a question to our faithful followers out there on Instagram, and I asked, what, in your opinion, is the most iconic or best trophy in sports? I have my opinion. Drew, I'm curious yours, and then we'll dive into our faithful listeners. Because it was.
You want to do our opinions first, or?
Well, we can do our. Well,
let's give the listeners and the Instagram followers the satisfaction of letting them have their answers be told fair. First.
The first one I got on my personal Instagram was a participation trophy, which is wrong.
Tell me,
so many
who
levels.
Did it? Who did
Alicia,
it?
One of my former coworkers. She's moving back to Texas. Alicia, if you're listening to this, just know that we're messing with Texas and we win because that's a terrible choice.
Yeah, that's awful.
On our $2 Sports podcast, it was almost unanimous. We had one vote for the BCS National Championship Crystal Ball.
Oh, that's a great trophy.
A1 per Cousin Kirk. Solid choice.
That's what he said?
That's what
he was said. The BCS?
BCS National Championship Crystal Ball. It's steak sauce, A1.
Uh-huh. I agree. I agree it's great, but it's not number one for me.
It doesn't fit my criteria for a trophy. We'll get into that in a minute. Our listeners are smart. Our followers, our fans are smart because we had a unanimous choice of Lord Stanley's Cup.
Yeah.
By Bowen, Kayla, Brent Johnson, Aaron Corinth, and Aaron Ten Buren up in Boston. It was a unanimous Stanley Cup trophy, which is a solid pick.
I feel like I need to clarify with you what unanimous means. But the fact that Kirk said BCS National Championship
everyone else was unanimous.
That disqualifies the unanimous. So, no, overwhelming.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Is Lord Stanley's Cup. And I think if I were to pick one, like that was the first thing that popped in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's awesome. It looks awesome. But what makes it so cool to me is that there's only one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to physically take the Stanley Cup away from the reigning champion and give it to the new champion. There's no hall full of all of the Stanley Cups that the Boston Bruins have won over the last 100 years. Or, you don't get to have just a trophy case full of Stanley Cups. There's one. And when they run out of room to etch the names, they just add another layer on the bottom of that sucker, and they keep going. And so just the individuality of the Stanley Cup is really what made me like the Stanley Cup more than any of them.
I couldn't agree more. I love the tradition, and it's just cool, and it goes
it's huge. I love it that it's
but it goes so many places. It's been on golf courses, it's been on boats, it's been on mountaintops, it's been in hot tubs, like it's been everywhere, and it's massive.
Right.
For me, what makes a great trophy is the ability to hold a liquid that you can consume out of it. For instance, the Crystal Ball college football trophy doesn't work. The World Series trophy, 0 liquid holding skills. The League of Avengers fantasy football trophy,
elite,
holds liquid. I have consumed a beverage out of the top of it. But that's why, for me, my top 2 choices were either Stanley Cup or what's cooler than pouring a beer into the claret jug.
I was hoping that would get back to me without you saying it, but the claret jug for the British Open.
Nothing better than pouring a cold Busch Light or drink of choice, Diet Coke, whatever you consume, into the claret jug, pouring it down, drinking out of it like that. It looks like a pitcher. It's just an incredible moment to consume a beverage out of that trophy.
It's like if the Stanley Cup is the bar, the claret jug is like your individual growler. And it's perfectly sized to where you can take it on the road with you and consume a beverage. It's got a handle, which, all right. So as I get older, there's 2 or 3 things that I just love. It's pockets on shirts,
frockets,
and cups with a handle. Everybody's got those massive cups now. I don't have one that big. But like my coffee cups, I want it to have a handle. It's easy. What are you talking about? Why am I using my whole hand to carry a drink when I can just use a couple fingers, and then I've got a couple fingers to spare, just to carry a pencil or some spare change or my car keys, whatever. It's all about functionality. And the claret jug is the perfectly functional vessel for consuming liquids that you win at a sporting event.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
It does, because you can drink off of other trophies, which is cool. Like pouring down the Lombardi Trophy, I'm sure is a cool thing. But consuming it from the trophy itself is like one of one. That's the upper echelon of sports celebration. Miss me with the shoey. I don't want some sweaty shoey.
No.
Give me a claret jug beer all day long.
No, and the Stanley Cup, whereas it is iconic and incredible, it is not easily movable for one person that's not a professional athlete. The claret jug, it's portable. It's great. You know what? I've talked myself into it. It's the best trophy of all sports.
There it is. So our listeners, excellent choice in the Stanley Cup. We're going with the claret jug for mobility's sake, if nothing else.
Worst trophy are the plates that they give out at Wimbledon. But
what are you gonna do? You gonna eat your fried chicken off of that? No, like it's a terrible, terrible trophy.
It is functional.
That would be the most American thing, is to just dominate a plate of fried chicken at Wimbledon if you won. All right, speaking of, we're going to move into a new favorite segment of our show, and it's called Can You Stump Drew? Dun, da, da, da. So I've got a series of trivia questions tonight. We'll kind of see how we do, how we're going through them. I know, Drew, you may not be on your best game tonight. Mississippi allergy season or whatever is kind of kicking his butt tonight. This is like for our listeners, this is a Jordan flu game type performance.
This is my flu game here.
Right up there with that. Kobe Bryant, stomach virus, Michael Jordan flu. This is it.
Yeah. I'm just here to entertain. And so the show must go on.
That's it. So I'll give you a couple we'll start with an easy one first. Can you name the top 5 teams with the most College World Series championships?
What's with all these list questions?
It's easier than what you mean. Just give you I've got 2 on here.
No, we're good. No,
who did this? Which we'll get to.
Texas.
How many they got? They're number 3.
I'm just going to name them. I can't tell you how many.
Their number 3 was 6.
Louisiana State University.
Number 2 is 7.
Let's see.
Technically, I've got 7 here for you to choose from because there is a 3-way tie.
Okay. Florida. They've probably got
not in the top
2.
5.
Yeah. Let's see. Rice.
Not in the top 5.
Cal State Fullerton.
Number 5 with 4 in a 3-way tie with 2 other teams.
Okay. I know some of these would probably just go back forever ago.
One of them does. One of them hadn't won one since like 96.
96.
Maybe even before that.
Oklahoma State.
No, not in the top 5. One of them, they won a bunch in the 70s.
I have no idea. I'm just going to list off the powers.
2 of them are from the same state, and one of them was the last number 1 overall seed to win a national championship.
Okay, we talked about this. Oregon State.
Not in the top 5.
They weren't in the last number 1 overall seed.
The last, it was in 2001.
South Carolina.
Nope, they've got 2. This team has 4. They play in Coral Gables.
Oh, Miami. I would have gotten there on Miami. But I'm not going to make any excuses.
So we got 2 from the same state, and then 1 that hasn't won. They won a bunch, and they won like 6 in a row in the 70s.
Oh, good Lord! I don't. Is Florida the state that's got 2?
If I gave you the state, I'd give it away because it's the school and the state school.
Right.
I can give you a famous alum.
Let me think here.
That's not
Vanderbilt.
Nope, they've got 2.
LSU. It's not them. It's not Louisiana. I'm hung up.
You've got one SEC school, and then you've got the 3 teams you have left are in the same conference on the western coast of our great nation.
Oh, USC and UCLA.
So USC is number 1 with 12. UCLA is not in the top 5.
Oh, really? So
these were powerhouses back in the day. One of them, Ole Miss had to beat after losing to them in a super regional.
Arizona
has got 4. Arizona, Cal State, Fullerton, and Miami are tied with 4.
Okay.
And then we've got 1 more. So you got Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Famous alums include Brooks Koepka, Barry Bonds. Arizona State has 5.
Dustin Pedroia.
So USC with 12, LSU with 7, Texas 6, Arizona State 5, Arizona, Cal State, Fullerton, and Miami with 4.
Yeah. That was a struggle.
It was, yeah.
No,
we'll blame it on the cold.
Yeah.
We'll blame it on the cold. But speaking of Wimbledon, Mr. Tennis Player, can you name the top 5 champions with the people with the top 5 men with Wimbledon champions in the Open era? So more
just
recent.
Wimbledon?
Just Wimbledon.
Oh, okay.
Since Wimbledon's going on, there was the Open era and there was the amateur era back in the 20s. I don't expect you to know any of those.
No.
But I picked they're all recent. You should be able to get probably easily 4 to the 5.
Okay. So you've got Federer, who's got the most.
Number 1 with 8.
Yeah. Djokovic.
Number 2 is 7. He's tied with an individual.
Nadal may not have. He may be. Is he 5?
No, he has.
He got the bulk of his in the French.
Right.
But how many does he have at Wimbledon? Do you know?
I think just 1.
Okay. All right. So let's go back a little bit. Pete Sampras.
Tied with Djokovic with 7.
Okay.
These next 2 you're going to have to go way back.
Bjorn Borg.
With 4. He's number 4.
Arthur
You got
Ashe.
1 more.
Arthur Ashe.
Nope.
All right.
If you get this one, I will be impressed.
I know some tennis players. Andre Agassi. He's probably.
That's a good guess, but no, he was my mama's favorite.
So I've got Fed, Djokovic, Bjorn Borg,
Pete
Sampras, and
this individual
John McEnroe.
Nope, this fella has 2.
Oh, 2. I bet.
There's a lot.
You tell me the 5th place in all-time Wimbledon only have 2?
And it was. I don't know that you get this because this was back in the 60s.
Oh. What country is he from?
He is from Australia.
Yvonne Lindell.
He had 3 Australian Opens. He had 2 French Opens. He technically had 4 Wimbledons, but 2 in the Open era, 2 in the amateur era, and then 2 U.S. Opens.
Okay, who is it?
Rod Laver, Laver.
Rod Laver.
There you go.
Yeah,
Tell you what I know about it.
I should have known that when you said Australian, because that's their major court. It's at Rod Laver Arena. You know,
There you go.
They play the Australian Open.
Well, we're going to stay on Wimbledon. And can you tell me the top 5 countries with the most Wimbledon titles? So people representing these countries have won multiple titles. There's top 5, and I'll tell you 5th place is 3 countries tied with 7.
Well, Switzerland, number 1.
They got 8 in 4th.
All the Federers.
All won by one individual.
Then Serbia.
They're tied in 5th with 7 with 2 other countries.
Yeah, that's Djokovic.
Yep.
Let's see. I'll go ahead and say Spain for Nadal. I know he's only won 1, but there's been some good Spanish players.
Nope, not in the top 5.
All right, the United States of America.
2nd with 33.
So who are some?
You got 3 left.
So I'm trying to think back. Bjorn Borg, where was he from? That name like that makes me think it's German, but Scandinavian. I don't know.
So you're on the right track. So his country is one of the ones tied in 5th with 7.
Yeah, I don't know what country he's from. So Bjorn Borg's country is
Sweden.
Okay, I would never gotten that.
So you got one more. You got one more tied for 5th, and then you have the 1st place country with 37.
Oh, good grief! Somebody's got more than the U.S.
It's the
England.
It's the only thing they beat us in, and it's great.
England. Yeah. Okay.
So you got
Andy
one
Murray has not even won a Wimbledon, I don't think.
Well, I mean, you think about it, they hosted it, so they've got home court advantage.
Right. Home grass advantage.
Whatever. You got one more.
I want to try to relate it to players instead of just guessing countries. But I can't really think of. It's not Spain, Australia, France.
It is France. They are tied with Serbia and Sweden with 7.
All right, let's look up. I know like Gael Monfils.
One of them is Marion Bertoli. Won one in 2013.
That's rather new, but
let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any other French winners here.
Richard Gasquet, Joe Willie Tsonga. He was good. Yep. He won a Wimbledon. I watched that one. Jill Simone. Really good. Okay. I've got a trivia question for you. Put your phone down. Quit looking at French tennis players.
All right.
A famous French tennis player was the father of a former Grizzly. Can you name the Grizzly?
Oh man. Oh, I knew this. Hang on.
It makes so much sense when you.
I know.
When you see.
All I'm thinking of is Costa Kufas, but he's not French.
No, he's Middle Eastern, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
His daddy's name is the professional tennis player. His first name is Yannick.
Oh, hang on. You said former Grizz, right?
Former Grizz.
John Lure.
No.
Oh yeah, he's
white.
He's Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, Lure sounds French. Marc Gasol.
Nope, he's Spanish.
I don't know.
One, Joakim Noah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I forgot. He was a Grizz for a little while. Joakim Noah. Yep, I saw him play at Florida.
Yep. And the other famous French tennis player is one named Nicolas Mahut. Do you know what he's famous for?
Mahut?
Uh-huh.
I don't.
So he is one half of the longest Wimbledon match of all time.
Oh, yeah?
So, in Wimbledon, they don't do this anymore. If you get to a deciding 5th set, so it's best 2 out of 3 sets, And a set is first 1 to 6, win by 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you make it to a 5th set, you don't go to a tiebreaker, but you just keep playing games until somebody wins by 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so at Wimbledon, against a American, John Isner from Georgia, Nicholas Mahut and John Isner played a tennis match that lasted 11 hours and 5 minutes over the course of 3 days.
Jeez.
In which the final 5th set ended at 70 to 68 with John Isner winning.
Wow.
Yeah. After that, they decided they would do a 5th set tie break from that point forward.
So we don't run into that. That's wild.
Yeah. So that's all my.
I got 2 more I'm gonna hit you with. Pretty short, sweet ones. College football is right around the corner. We're less than 8 weeks out from opening weekend of college football, and I know you're excited. I'm excited. We got a lot of college football content to get to coming up. But as a warm-up teaser for today, Drew, do you know who had the longest winning streak in college football history? It spanned from 1953 to 1957 at 47 games. What school had the longest winning streak?
Nebraska.
That's a great guess, but no.
1943.
53 to 57.
Yeah, that could have been like Wabash Valley. Like, what was the school that used to be in the SEC?
You're thinking of Sewanee?
Sewanee. Yeah, was it Sewanee?
It was not. It's a powerhouse that's still a competitive team this year or today.
Alabama.
Nope.
Georgia. Ohio State.
Nope. Starts with an O.
Ole Miss. Oklahoma.
1953 to 1957, they won 47 consecutive games, a feat that has not been topped, obviously, since then.
I bet that Miami team in the late 2000s got close.
Close. I imagine they did. All right, this one will cue up our next topic that I want to get into, but who had the longest college football losing streak at 34 games from 1979 to 1982? And if you've been paying attention to the news lately, you might have a clue.
Northwestern.
They lost 34 straight games, and then this week lost their head coach in the midst of some controversy that is interesting because one camp of this former player, for those of you living under a rock haven't seen this recently.
For everybody.
Yeah. So Pat Fitzgerald is the head coach there. He's a famous alum, played football there, played in the NFL for a long time, hard-nosed linebacker, good player.
One of the longest tenured coaches in all football. I think it's 17 years.
Absolutely. Been there forever and has had Northwestern competitive in some years. Now, again, not great overall, but they've had some competitive years. They beat Ohio State. They beat some teams and made some bowl games. They've been a decent team over the years. A former player accused him of being fully aware of some pretty unsavory hazing practices that involve some sexually compromising positions and acts and different things of the players. This is a family podcast after all. We're not going to get into those details. You can find them on the dark webs if you'd like. But he accused Coach Fitzgerald of being well aware and knowing about these, having a list in his office and knowing what's going on. The vast majority of former players have said that this is not accurate. This guy has a vendetta out for the coach. All that notwithstanding, apparently Fitzgerald came out with a statement after, but they had agreed on a suspension per Coach Fitzgerald's statement through his lawyers today. But Northwestern University had a closed-door meeting and decided to go ahead and terminate him. It was an equal decision, but Coach Fitzgerald came out in a statement today and said he was not aware of that it was supposed to be a suspension, and then they unilaterally decided to can him. So Coach Fitzgerald, Pat Fitzgerald, is out at Northwestern after what has been an ugly potential hazing saga, which we all know hazing has been outlawed for a number of years now. Drew, I got hazed in high school. I got taped to a chair, spun around until I threw up with a dip in my mouth. We did different things, that we'd haze freshmen when I was in high school. Nothing of the nature that was accused here, but I'm curious of your thoughts, man. What have you seen about this ongoing saga at Northwestern?
Well, I mean, you can gripe about the validity of the rumors or the allegations or whatever. One thing is true. If you get caught hazing and as a coach, there's an allegation of you being made that an allegation made that you're aware of hazing going on within your program, you will get fired.
Yep.
Especially when the hazing is of sexual nature. We can argue about which side's telling the truth or which side's not. What I'm going to say happened is Northwestern found a way out, possibly, because after the 2020 season, in which COVID was here and they played a 9-game schedules, all the Big Ten played, 2021 they went 3-9, and 2022 they went 1-11.
Yeah.
And so maybe they found a way to fire him with cause now,
yeah.
and save a buyout. But I don't know. I always hate. I'm never going to be the one, especially in today's day and time, that says that the person making the allegations is a fool, because we're now aware of a lot of things that go on, a lot more than what we used to be aware of.
Right.
Thanks to social media and thanks for everybody having a phone in their pocket, whatnot. However, the opposite's also true, is where if you're going to assume that the person making the allegation is not telling a bold-faced lie, that's going to bite you in the rear sometimes too.
Yep.
The truth is normally somewhere in the middle, but if somewhere in the middle is a hazing of a player that could lean towards a sexual nature, well, then you're going to lose your job, and you 100%. Probably should.
And it's the same thing with all the Joe Paterno stuff, right? If you're the head coach, you are the CEO, you are overseeing all the operations in that building, and you know about what's going on. So if it was going on, he knew about it. If it was a player trying to get revenge, that's one thing. But if it happened in any form, Fitzgerald knew about it, or he's going to be held responsible for it, because you are the captain of that ship. That is your kingdom, and you know what's going on in your locker room.
And the only thing that really matters is, did he know about it at all, in any extent? It doesn't really matter like how many times it happened. If it happened one time and he knew about it and that player wasn't disciplined, then that's enough for you to lose your job in today's day and time. We can debate whether you should or shouldn't. That doesn't matter. The fact is, if something like that happens on your program one time and it not be addressed and or covered or ultimately covered up, you will lose your job. That's just the facts.
That's this day and time. And it's a different world than it used to be when hazing was much more widely accepted. Good, bad, and different. You can't do it. And if he knew anything about it, like you said, then this is a justification. I think it's going to get ugly. He is lawyered up and is going to fight this in court. I don't really know how that's going to end, other than maybe a buyout or some hush money. I don't think he gets his job back. I think he's fighting for an opportunity to coach in the future, because if you get fired for an offense like this, ask Art Briles, it's hard to get a job back. I think he'll probably end up in Nick Saban's rehab program and then get a job somewhere else. But I think that's what this lawsuit is him trying to save face so that he can get a job in the future.
Well, it's money, you know. Yeah. I guess it's trying to fire him for a cause or not. If they're trying to fire him for cause, then that's why he has an attorney that's going to fight it tooth and nail. Yeah. Because I don't know what his contract situation is, but I know that he is only 48 years old, and so he's got a long career ahead of him. And so, yes, I'm sure if he believes that it is false, he's being falsely accused, then he will be fighting that as well. But ultimately, he's trying to get his buyout money.
Yeah. Get a buyout money, get his name cleared, whatever, so that he can get a job in the future. So wish him well, wish the university well. It's going to be an ugly fight as this thing kind of progresses. But I think one thing we can agree on, Drew, is all-star games kind of suck.
I'll be honest with you. I watched the last about minute and a half of the home run derby last night.
Mm-hmm. Did you see Vlad smoke that kid in the outfield?
I did. That poor kid. No. It really makes no sense why they've got kids shagging fly balls out there in a home run derby. It's never made sense to me.
Pete Alonso almost killed one last year as he's dancing at home plate, waiting on him to cart him off. Vlad hit that kid last night. I sent you the video of the sonic rings coming out of him when he
Right.
got hit, which was hilarious. But other than like those side events, the All-Star game kind of sucks, right? The MLB All-Star game doesn't matter. The NBA All-Star game is just who can score 150 points and dunk all the time. The NFL game is now flag football, which is atrocious.
It's not even a game anymore. It's just
right.
a bunch of park games, school gym games.
But what better sport to have a game like that, an all-star game, if you will, than professional golf? Like, it's so stiff. It's so prim proper. Got to wear pants. Got to do this. Got to follow the rules. It's very arrogant, and I get that. But why not pick a weekend, go to the Waste Management out there in Scottsdale, because it's already just a great event, and let's do a longest drive. Let's do it home run derby style. You give DJ, you give Rory, you give John Rahm, you give Brooks, 3 minutes on the clock, 5 minutes, whatever, to tee up as many balls as they can and just hit bombs down the fairway. See who can hit the farthest, who has the most accurate drive. There's so many cool skill competitions you could do with a golf all-star game, a chipping contest, a longest putt. Like, there's so many cool things you can do with it. I don't know why we're not doing this already.
I just think that golf has got too many variables in it. Like, you can do a longest putt contest, but what are you going to do? Start somebody out at 30 feet and see how many times it takes them to sink it?
No, do like longest drive, like closest to the pin challenge with a 4, 5, 6, right. 2 iron, whatever. Like, there's a lot of ways you could do this that would be a good way to showcase skills, other than, like you said, lining up a 30, a 40, a 50-foot putt.
Right. I'm with it. I mean, I think it'd be fun to go watch them play like a 3-hole course for an all-star game, and just little stuff like that where it like outlines the skill it takes with different angles and approaching greens, because to me that's more impressive to me is how you can approach the green than it is how far you can drive.
Yeah, I mean, chicks dig the long ball. Some people would want to see those long drives, but I agree. Give them a 90-degree, 90-degree, 90-degree in, or make him only play this hole with the 7-iron or 8-iron or whatever, and see what kind of skills they truly have with those clubs, because those guys are magicians, man. They're playing a different sport than you and I are.
Oh, there's no doubt. If you ever think golf's boring, go try to play one time and then watch them play golf.
That's it. So. You'll appreciate how good those dudes are. And I think that in a world with boring all-star games, golf could do something really cool, especially now you got this LIV merger, you got the PGA stuff going on that's going before Congress to see if it'll actually go. Who knows what's going to come out of that. But there's a lot of wiggle room now to make golf fun again and make it spicy, right, and do something cool like this is just different.
Right. I'm with you. Somebody needs to do it right. That's all I've got to say.
I think one event would be you get to enter much like the Masters tickets, right? You got 30 guys that are entered, professional golfers, and then 30 average Joes get to go play with them. For, like you said, those people who think, oh, golf can't be that hard. It's just a bunch of guys drinking beer and playing golf. To see the true disparity that would be between me and the worst golfer on tour, or DJ and your club's champion, to see the true difference between these guys. Again, it's not the same sport.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would like to see like a pros versus Joes in NASCAR racing. That's what I'm all about. Let me get in a souped up automobile and then take it for a lap around the track.
You wouldn't make it a half lap, man.
I'd make it the whole way, but they would hate me.
Not everybody else. Nobody else would make it the whole way, but you might.
Right.
All right, Drew.
What else you got for us, bud?
Yeah, so a couple NBA topics. Number one, you're curious about your thoughts on the greatest prospect of all time, or since the 60s, or whatever, since Lou Alcindor. Yeah. We had it's a small sample size. We had 2 games, 2 completely different games. A hot game, a cold game. We had first game was just abysmal. He just did not win. But we're talking about Victor Wembanyama, for those of you listening at home. First game was not a great showcase of his skills. He just looked uncomfortable. He didn't move very well. We had a terrible first game. Second game, though, 27 points, 12 rebounds, looked much, much better.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take any player, I don't care what their stature is, and drop them into an NBA environment and expect them to be great right then and there. That's what they've done with Wemby. And it was like the Pope was coming to town when Wemby had his first game in Las Vegas, and he stunk. And
Yeah.
you know what? I hope nobody changed their expectations based on one game, because we've seen this time and time again. There are risks with his game. He is skinny. He's 7'3.5". Sure, he handles the ball better than any 7'3.5" person you have seen. Uh, and he's got a prettier shot than anyone that size that you have seen, and it's all there for him to be an all-time great. But that don't mean it's going to be all-time great right now.
Right.
And so he was a 18-year-old playing in a French professional league. Let's not forget that. Even this G League, I mean, the summer league that he's in right now, is these teams are probably better than those professional French teams.
Mm-hmm.
So give him a minute, let him get his bearings, and not to mention just the psychological limbo that he's in, that, trying to, and he seems very mature for his age, or he speaks like he is, and his perspective is very much older of a mindset than what you would expect from your typical 18-year-old.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like the Beatles coming to America and playing Johnny Carson the first night, and then you've got to be on your game. And if you're not, they're ready to make jokes about you,
It's, not to mention you got Britney Spears looking over your shoulder trying to get a picture with you, You never know what's going to happen.
I feel bad for him. That security guard smacked her, and his name is attached to everything.
Right.
And it wasn't even his security guard. It was a San Antonio Spurs security guard, not
who overreacted.
It was not a Wemby. It was not anybody in Wembanyama's camp.
No.
It was a Spurs security guard. They needed to fire him and make him an example to get everybody to quit popping their jokes off about Victor.
Yeah, right. It was not his fault. It is not, Brittany was trying to get a picture. She tapped him on the shoulder. Because it first came out that she grabbed him, which I'm like, whoa, that doesn't sound good. Then the video came out where it was just a tap on the shoulder. And then she took the people's elbow to the face that ended that request.
It wasn't that dramatic, but it was very hard to watch. The Wembanyama highlights of his first summer league game set to the music of "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." Because it was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah, speaking of brutal, man, I don't know. You've seen this, and it's kind of, we've talked about it a little bit, but the NBA is releasing a in-season tournament to try and spice up basketball in November, because we all know that there is nothing good in November basketball, because you got a lot of rests and deload nights. You got a lot of guys sitting out. And so I appreciate the NBA trying to spice things up. So basically we've got 5 different pods of teams, 5 different groups of teams.
6.
3 on the East, 3 on the West. And
5 teams in each.
Right. They've been seeded based on how they finished last year. So you'll get some interesting matchups. For instance, the Grizzlies are in Group A with Phoenix, the Lakers, Utah, and Portland. Group B is Denver, the Clippers, Pelicans, Mavs, and Rockets. Group C, Kings, Warriors, Thunders, Wolves, and Spurs. And so basically,
that's a hard group.
That's a tough group. In the Eastern Conference, 76ers, Cavs, Hawks, Pacers, Pistons, Bucks, Knicks, Heat, Wizards, Hornets, which is interesting. And then the Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Bulls, and Magic. And so what's going to happen is every Tuesday and Friday night in November are going to be playoff nights. And so you'll know there's no confusion. Every Tuesday, Friday night in November, then the final 4 teams are going to converge on Vegas in early December to play the semifinals and then the championship game. So up to that point, up to the championship game, all games will count for the regular season. So it'll count towards your playoffs. So there is some skin in the game. Also, all players on the winning team will get a $500,000 bonus, which, big deal, great for them. Some of those people, that's chump change, but 2/3 of that roster, that's going to be good money.
That's good money, yeah.
That's good money for 2/3 of the roster.
In a league in which the superstars make 50% of your cap, there's a lot of people at the end of the bench that could really use the $500,000.
It's gonna be great for the Jake LaRavias and those guys of the world, for David Roddy's on rookie contracts for sure. But other than that, there's not a lot of reason to get excited about it. I think there is potential there, and I think it's an evolving situation. But I do appreciate the NBA's attempt to make November basketball matter.
Oh, I love it. I mean, the greatest time of college basketball is the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest time of any sport is when you've got a bracket, a tournament, something to play for.
Yep.
They play 82 regular season games, and one game of the 82 is no different than the 19th or the 27th or the 53rd game of 82. And so, yeah, give it meaning. Divisions don't matter anymore. So then it heightens matchups. Read the Grizzlies schedule off again. Lakers, Lakers,
we got
Jazz,
the Lakers, we
Portland.
got the Suns, we got the Jazz, we got Portland, and we've got the first two games. The first two games are Memphis, Phoenix, Memphis, Utah. I mean, that's two good games to start the tournament with.
That's right. And so you don't have divisions anymore. So now you've got a 5-team pod, and that you're competing with for this in-season tournament. And I'm not the guy that's going to, pound the drum for the in-season tournament, saying that it's drastically elevates the NBA as a product or that it's groundbreaking, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, if nothing else, it's fun. So, yeah, so you're going to get there's 6 teams that there's going to be a winner in each pod, and you'll have 2 wild card teams. They're going to play a first round matchup, and the final 4 go play in Vegas. It's fun.
And think about that, Drew. We're going to get like a late November, early December weekend of basketball. It'll be a Friday, Saturday. So you'll have college football in the morning. You'll have NBA in-season tournament in the afternoon. You'll have NFL on Sunday. And so I was listening to the mismatch with Chris Vernon. They were talking about, like, can you imagine going out there for that weekend?
Right.
You're there for the whole weekend. You're there Friday night. You see the semifinals, Saturday, the championship games, whatever. Then you're there on Sunday enjoying betting and NFL football in Vegas. Like, what better weekend for reporters and media personalities than late December, late November to go to Vegas?
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like, so the only downside, I guess, is that the championship game will be on a Saturday in November, which is like the pinnacle college football,
Right.
But I'm
curious how they're going to make it matter, because like it matters to players for $500K, but what does the championship do? You're playing for a trophy. Like, yeah, you get a cool trophy. Some teams eventually going to win the inaugural or win a NBA in season and then win their conference and win the finals. Like, that'll happen at some point, I'm sure. But like, how can we make that championship game matter? The Major League Baseball used to do the winner of the All-Star game had home field advantage in the World Series, and everybody hated that. But
no, you can't do that.
What's a way you got any ideas on how they can incentivize winning that championship?
I mean, I don't know. No, I think awarding home field advantage in the NBA title in the NBA finals is ludicrous. Like we found was ludicrous in the World Series. I mean, I like the idea of maybe a second round pick but you've got to figure out a way. I think it's cool. I think players will think it's cool. I'm curious. I just kind of want to feel it out first for a year or two and just see what it feels like, because I want players to care about it. And
that's what I'm saying.
Obviously, I want fans to care about it, but I care from a fan's perspective. I care for 82 games as it is. You just increased the entertainment quality for a few of my 82 games. I'm going to watch one way or the other.
I think it's a great first step, 100%. And then, I like the idea of maybe a draft pick. You get the 31st pick. You get the first pick in the second round as a way to incentivize teams to win. I think the players are buying in just because they are competitive. But, it's the second month of the season. It's early in the season. I'm sure you'll get some guys that'll rest. But I think it's a great first step in getting November basketball to matter a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm going to watch it. I'll watch all the games on Tuesdays and Fridays in November. I will not be missing those. I think that'd be great.
Right. Right.
Last couple of topics here. We'll kind of wind down with the Major League Baseball All-Star Week. Kind of talked about that already a little bit. You said you watched the last minute and a half. I watched a lot more of the Home Run Derby last night. I really don't care for like the Celebrity All-Star or softball game. I don't watch much of the game, actually, the All-Star game. But the Home Run Derby I've enjoyed. I don't know that I care for the new format. It feels like a cardio session, and we don't get to admire the 500-foot bombs or the 400 and something foot home runs that we get to see. Because the current format, you get 3 minutes, you can take a break. Most players are taking about a minute and a half, and it's just pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch.
No, they need to go back to the way it
Go back
was.
to the old.
10
That's what I
outs.
was just about to say. Give them 10 outs. If you want to make it 15, sure, go ahead. That's fine. But give them outs that they get out. So if you don't hit a home run, it counts against you. Because then you don't get, like last night, we had 41 home runs in a round. The previous record back in the old format was 28 in a round, which is super impressive.
Josh
Hamilton at
Hamilton,
Old Yankee in 07. This was between his cocaine bouts. He hit 28 home runs in one round. And I mean, that was impressive. With you get 10 outs to hit 28. I mean, but last night they were just like, it was just hack after hack after hack. Right. Kids were taking dives in the outfield, taking balls to the dome. I don't love the new format.
Yeah, I don't either. But this has been this way for a few years now, and it's kind of like the NBA dunk contest. I don't really care anymore. MLB's got a bigger problem. I've talked about 100 times on here that I don't know any of these players. Mm-hmm. So I mean, as a Cardinals fan, I knew a Randy Arozarena. They didn't bring back good memories because we traded him for nothing.
Yep.
He finished.
It's cool to see Vlad Jr. win one last night after his father won one a number of years ago, but his dad won with a total of like 30 home runs, and he had 30 home runs in a round.
Right. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you how to fix it. I just know it's broken.
He's going back to the old way.
I don't
and
really
stop blacking out games like we've talked about.
Right. So. All right, Rusty.
The only other good thing about the All-Star game, last couple things, is the jerseys. I am a fan of the jerseys. I thought they looked awesome.
If you say so.
Oh, you don't like
I haven't seen them.
Digital camo, kind of like the tribute to the Mariners colors.
Digital camo, I'm out. All the way out. Just blanketly out on digital camo. Mm. So, I don't need to see them.
Well, look them up if you hadn't seen them. I was a fan. I liked them. I think they look pretty sharp. Kind of a tip of the cap to the Mariners. But yeah, man, the last thing I got, a little nugget for you. The Major League Baseball draft was this week. We had the first time in history 2 teammates went back to back, first overall, second overall, and Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz. A little factoid for you: Dylan Cruz hit his first career home run off of Paul Skeens when he was at Air Force. And then the last thing I got for you is, for the 6th consecutive year, the New York Mets selected a player from Mississippi State University. They have drafted a Mississippi State Bulldog in 6 consecutive drafts. They took Kellum Clark tonight in the 6th round overall, but they've taken the likes of Jake Mangum, the mayor of Oxford, in the past, and they continue that tradition today with picking Kellum Clark. So that was an interesting fact.
Maybe the 6th one will work out better than the previous 5 bums that they've drafted.
Hey, Mangum's working his way up.
Yeah. 4 years later, he's still on his way up. There we go.
Yeah, so we had Jake Mangum, Cole Gordon in 19, JT Ginn in 20, Rowdy Jordan 21, 22 is Jet Williams, 23, Kellum Clark.
They all bums. You could say they were great Bulldogs.
Great Bulldogs, but
they're terrible Mets.
And the Mets are a poverty franchise.
You wonder why the Mets are a poverty franchise.
I knew that was coming. So that's all I got for you tonight, buddy. You got anything else you want to cover?
That's it. I got to go get my daughter from a play of Moana Jr. at the local theater. So I'm going to ski-daddle and run and pick up my little what is her role? She is a Maui, somebody with Maui. I forget what they called her, but she gets to make a warrior face, and that's her big claim to fame. So I got to go pick her up, and so Buckets, I've enjoyed it. Tell the folks where they can get us at. We'll see you guys again next week.
Yes, sir. So at 2 Buck Sports Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, 2 Buck Sports Podcast on Facebook. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Google, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And we are coming to you a day early because I'm going to be at the Need to Breathe concert tomorrow night at House of Blues for all of our listeners at home. Make sure that you were jealous, especially Drew. Cannot wait to see him again. Saw him a couple years ago in Charleston. This time I'm in the House of Blues, which will be a much smaller venue. It's going to be a fantastic time, and I cannot wait. Don't miss me too much tomorrow night, Drew.
All right. Have a good week, bud. Have a good time.
All right, guys. See y'all next week.
See ya.